Join Sri Lanka Lesson for tourists to see and learn about the proud history of Sri Lanka, which goes beyond the ancient history that every tourist sees while traveling in Sri Lanka. During the British colonial period in Sri Lanka, the British themselves limited the history of Sri Lanka to a 2,600-year-old history as they desired, but according to folklore, the history of Sri Lanka dates back to between 4,500 and 5,000 years. It is difficult to find written evidence of that history in Sri Lanka. However, it is clearly mentioned in the book Ramayana written by Valmiki in India. He wrote those books to show the superiority of the gods Rama, Sita, and Hanuman, whom the people of India considered divine. But the book also mentions King Ravana, who ruled Sri Lanka at that time. As mentioned in the book, the Sri Lankan King Ravana flew to India in a plane, kidnapped Princess Sita, and returned to Sri Lanka. At that time, the British Empire was reluctant to accept that Sri Lanka had a more advanced technological era than the British at that time, between 4,500 and 5,000 years ago. Knowing that if they accepted it, it would lead to a decline in their prestige, they decided to destroy the books written about that history. Some of the books were taken to Britain, and the intellectuals who knew about history were killed. Even today, some of the books are in the British Museum. Those books contain the history of Sri Lanka as well as very ancient Ayurvedic medical systems, very advanced martial arts and technical methods. Even today, they are reluctant to return those books to Sri Lanka, which are in British museums. That is why even now, the only education system in Sri Lanka that is taught about the 2,600 years of history that the British Empire pointed out. But even now, ruins related to the history of King Ravana can be found in Sri Lanka. For example, Ritigala Mountain, Ravana Ala, Ravana Cave, Sita Hanuman Kovila, Sigiriya, the Palasthi statue, and the lion statue in Polonnaruwa. History states that King Ravana, who lived at that time, was a Sakvathi king. Evidence is emerging that he ruled Sri Lanka and other large areas. The best example is that a statue similar to the lion statue in Polonnaruwa was found in Babylon. Although it cannot be stated with certainty in this way, you will be able to explore some true history. Join Sri Lanka Lesson for tourists to visit such beautiful places and gain awareness about them and make your Sri Lanka trip a great success. We can provide any type of vehicle required for your trip. Contact us for that. WhatsApp 9 477 785 6771.